The audio right now and flip over to the live scene. What is up, my fellow YouTubers? How are you out there today? We want to welcome you back to another episode of Random FPV Interviews. Today, I'm proud to be joined by one of the most humble and nicest guys that I've probably ever met in the hobby, Mr. David Skidoosh
Aw,
Andrews. David, how are you today, bro?
Mr. Random, it is so good to see your face, my friend. It has been a hot minute since we have had a chance to speak like this. If
Yeah,
people don't know, Random and I go back a few years. We've done a few of these streams.
yeah. We've done a few. As a matter of fact, I think we first met on the 24-hour live stream, and
I was
I
just
think
gonna say that. Yes,
we
we
got to
did.
know each other over a nice long period of time because you were one of the troopers that stuck with it for a good majority of it.
yeah. I was hanging around. I had nothing better to do. Besides, when it was your guys' nighttime, it was daytime for me, so it made it pretty easy.
Right. So for those of you that don't know, how did you find FPV? How did you find the hobby?
Okay, let's see. It was around 2015, end of 2014, 2015. Um, I had just come to China like a year before, and I was only supposed to be here on like a 1 year contract. I came here in 2013. I moved to China late 2013, like around Thanksgiving time. So I guess it was late 2014. It doesn't matter. Anyway, so I was like out at this temple out in the mountains. I had ridden my motorcycle out there because that's what I used to do, is just cruise around and check stuff out. And I'm standing there and I see this drone come up and circle the temple, nice and smooth. The guy's down there with his controller. I can see him taking this nice video. And I was like, oh man, I've seen those things before. I need to get one of those. And my vision at that time was just to capture as many like photos and videos and whatever I could, because I thought I was here on limited time. I had no idea what it was. I didn't, it was obviously a phantom, but I didn't know that. So a little while later, I'm walking down the street, one of the downtown neighborhoods down here, and I see this kid flying a white drone around the road, and I'm like, oh, that's one of those drones. So I went in there and bought one. Little did I know this was a SEMA X5. It
Okay.
wasn't it wasn't a Phantom pinhole camera, whatever. I didn't know anything. I got it home. The instructions were in Chinese, so I couldn't figure out how to fly the dang thing. I figured out how to get the batteries in it and get it armed with the stick command, and took it outside and hit the throttle and never saw that thing again.
It flew off on you, huh?
It was gone. I didn't know how to control it, which way was up, down, whatever. So I went and bought another one, and then I said, all right, there's got to be some. Back in those days there wasn't very much information out there. We just had like RC groups and whatever, you know. So I got to looking on YouTube, and I think I found like Quadcopter 101, or whatever, and I figured out the controls and stuff like that, and I bought a couple different ones and flew line of sight for maybe a year or so, and then I came across Flight Test and you know Blue Falcon and the few channels that were out back in the Painless 360, I think, was around back then. So anyway, I'm watching a flight test video, and it's I think it was Bixler and Alex, and they were interviewing Sharpoo, and it was like the Fly Like Sharpoo video.
Okay.
So I'm looking at it and I'm like, wow, they're flying in a park that's like right next to my house. Wife
Hello.
doing a drive by,
Photobomb.
photo bombing me. So anyway, she's a goof. So anyway, I noticed that the park that they were flying in was Gillespie Park, which was like right next to where I lived back home in Sarasota. So I was like, holy crap. And then I got to digging in and found out that Get FPV was like 2 blocks over from that. which is my old neighborhood. So that year, Christmas, when I flew home, I went in to get FPV and bought all my first gear. I bought a piece of crap Vortex 285 with the folding arms, the old head play goggles, the big giant screen on them, and a Tyrannus, and I was off. 1806 motors with a 1853 cell battery, and we thought at bi-bib blade props, we thought we had turbo machines back then. That was like 2016, end of 2015. That was it from there.
Man, that's a great story. So what are you
My
flying
first
now?
quad, the first quad I actually built was a Sharpoo 210.
So was I.
And
Mine, it
now,
was a clone kit, but that's what it was.
yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
even
mine
know
too.
there were clones when I bought it. That was
Yeah, me
before
too.
everything was such a big deal with clone or not.
Same thing. Like I said, there wasn't many groups back then, and I actually found the clone frame in a shop here in the city that I live in. So I ended up contacting the guy that owned the shop because I didn't know anything about building or nothing back then. I think the SP3s were just coming around. It was like right at the end of the Naze area. It was like Clean Flight 1.2 or something, whatever. But anyway, I got a hold of the guy that owned the shop, and he actually spoke really good English because he went to school in England or wherever. So I ended up going to the shop and hooking up with him, and he showed me how to build and stuff, like got me off the ground with everything, gave me all the right parts I needed. I think it was DYS 2204 motors, and like I said, it was the SP3 whatever that had just came out, DYS ESCs. But now, as most people know, I'm a Lumineer pilot. So I fly the QAVR pretty much exclusively for my freestyle, but it's a completely custom QAVR. It's
You
only on
got it
10mm
slammed.
standoffs. Yeah, it's only 10mm,
That's
and
sweet.
it's a 5-inch setup on a 6-inch frame, so it gives me a lot more floaty, swoopy video.
Hell yeah. I'm liking it.
It's a wafer.
So a lot of folks don't know that you're actually in China. What's the province you're located in?
Jiangsu. I'm right next to Shanghai.
Tell us about how you got to China.
I can do that, and you already know this story. To make a long story short, I was basically homeless. Um, After years of addiction, I finally went and got clean. So I've been clean for about 10 years now. Well, over 10 years now. Um,
Congratulations.
I got out of the rehab that I was in and had just been through separation. My kids had got taken away. I was basically homeless and jobless. There was another guy that was in recovery that he was like the manager of this golf cart place. And I begged him for like some temporary part-time cash work, whatever, so that I could just, eat, have a place
Just
to
have
take a
something.
shower, something, whatever. And he's like, yeah, come in a couple days a week. I got something you can do. I'll pay you under the table. So I did. Um, and I kicked ass on what he wanted me to do. So he ended up hiring me full time. I went into one of the bays, and we ended up. They started a sister company came in to the company that I was working for, and they were importing cars from China. So it was going. Our bay was chosen to build all the cars that were being imported from China. So it was going pretty good. A few months down the road, we started having a little problems with the cars, whatever. So they asked me if I would fly to China for a couple weeks and go into the factory where they were being produced, and straighten out the issues. So I came over here for 2 weeks, did all that. When I flew back to America, the bosses came to me and they were so happy with what I did. They were like, hey, will you just move to China and run that factory for us? I was like, sure, why not? Just, I had nothing going on. I'd been through a divorce, whatever. I got custody back of the kids, but then we got divorced. So we got separated at the time. We're going through the divorce. So I had nothing going on. So I came over here on a 1-year contract. That was 7 years ago. Came over here on a 1-year contract. And in that time, I ended up gathering our own suppliers. I ended up applying for my own business license and my own export license. And we ended up splitting away from the Chinese partnership. And now I have my own facility with my own crew, 100% under me. Quality control, the whole 9 yards is all under me. And I export exclusively to that company back in America that sent me here in the first place.
And you build custom golf carts, right?
Yeah. We don't actually do any golf carts. We do like all the stretch vehicles, all the I got messages popping up all over my phone from people. It's distracting as hell. We're watching you. I actually build like all the custom stuff, like the stretch cars, lifted cars. We do little hunting buggies. We do stuff for the colleges, like the maintenance cars and little tool truck cars, infield cars, little ambulances, like the ambulance that you see that runs out in the football game and picks a guy up off the ground. We make those.
No
We got
shit.
contracts with like Disney World, Busch Gardens, Sheraton hotels, resorts, Westgate, all that type of stuff. We don't actually do golf carts. We do golf carts on steroids.
Right. Well, real quick, let's transition real quick. I want to give a quick shout out to the chat. We've got Two Stroke Me, 661 FPV, Ben Crashin, Big Oily Guy. We've got Bike Guy, Jack Fu, Lenuzo. Yeah, I think I didn't butcher it too bad. Mr. Cohagen and Noid, what is good, everybody? It's good to see everybody. We got Dreams also just got in. And Hawkeye's there. Who else we got? Vampire. Tony Briz. Jane? You Jane? FPV? What's good? So we
all
got
the
quite a
boys
few.
in the house.
Yeah, we got quite a few people hanging out. Double A's in there. Chillin'.
Double A.
Thank you for showing up, everybody. We really appreciate it. Okay, so you mentioned that you fly that 6-inch with 5-inch props for freestyle. What do you fly for racing? Because I know you do quite a bit of racing.
I do. Yeah, I'm actually a sponsored pilot over here, which is pretty cool. They fly us all over the place. Now, I was flying my own frame for a while, but I switched over to the Chief frame from Lumineer. Chief had just come out with some frames. And a few weeks ago, I went down to Thailand to the Korean guys, HJ Sun, Young Rock, Min Jae, and Kampai, which is one of the Thailand's top pilots, invited me down to like a private training camp. And we went down. I was down there for 12. They stayed down there longer than me, but I was down there for 12 days, and we just flew pack after pack after pack all day long. It was crazy. So I ended up breaking all my frames, but they gave me the MCK frame.
Min Chen Kim?
Yep, hers, who is also a friend of mine, by the way. And I'm absolutely loving this frame. She went in there because I had to shove her away because she kept jumping on me because nobody's paying attention to her. I'm a little busy right now. Sorry, I'm talking about my dog.
Yeah, it's all good. We'll go through your laundry list of friends here in a little while.
Now I'm flying the Min Chen frame because I really like the way this thing is set up. I really like the way it's got room and the camera and everything goes in there. And I think this thing weighs out at 260 grams as it sits totally dressed out.
Wow.
5S on 2400 kV motors.
I bet that thing just screams.
It does. It does. I had a 6S setup, but the 6S batteries are so heavy. We actually found, we did some experimenting down there in Thailand, and everybody was setting faster times with the 5S on 2400 kV because The 5S batteries are 20, 30, 40 grams lighter, depending on what you use. So you can get a lot more quick turn reaction speed up times.
No doubt. So you mentioned Min Chen Kim. You actually get to fly with a lot of the top pilots quite often. There's a really healthy scene over in China as far as FPV, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. What happens over here is like, all the airspace is military airspace, so it all has to be cleared by the military. So when they put on races, it's usually done by the local government that like sponsors the whole thing, to bring it, look at our new technology, da 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 da, and we are part of like the whole deal that they do. So anyway, what happens is the local governments sponsor the races, and they fly us all people in from all over the world, from Germany. Thomas's came from Australia, from everywhere, Hong Kong, Thailand, me, and they pay for all of it. They pay all of our airfare for us to go there and stay in the hotel, pay for our hotel to run the races. So I have been very lucky, in meeting, and Korea is so close that one of them guys is always over here, whether it's Young Rock or Min Chin or Min Jae or Moga, who is a female pilot for the Korean team that just smokes. Um, so I've been very lucky in that sense, in being able to meet like people from all over the world, Japan. I was just on the Mike Rollins the other day, and what I was telling him is I've basically flown with every pilot that's on the DCL league and then some. Luke Bannister, back in the old days, we had Metal Danny, flew with him, Freybot, just all the cool cats.
Yeah, I watched that at least the first interview that Michael Rollins released. It was really good.
Oh, thanks, buddy. There's another one coming, or a couple more, I think.
Yeah, he splits his stuff up, which is smart. He's a good
We
dude.
talked for like 3 hours, so we'll see what he pops out of that. And it was like didn't even feel like 3 hours.
So tell us about what is your favorite race that you've been to in China?
One of the big ones that I really enjoyed because of the way it was ran, and this is a big shout out to Joe Scully and team, Tom Barrick, and Dave Roberts, who was part of them at the time, but I think Dave Roberts is now split from them. But the multi GP, we did the multi GP in Ningbo, and there was 100 and something pilots, and they faced all kinds of obstacles to get everything up and running with, signals and different languages and getting clean video and time zone and setting up the track in the middle of the city but it was very well executed. I also really enjoy the ID. I fly for the IDRGP, which is the Independent Drone Racing, International Drone Racing Grand
Look
Prix
at
here
that.
in China. And they also do a really good job on setting everything up and taking care of everything, keeping it rolling. It's also one of the fun ones.
So if you had to pick one pilot to compete against to make you better, who would it be?
Right now, probably Min Jae Kim, the little 11-year-old kid.
Just crushing it, huh?
He's just crushing it. Young Rock can't even keep up with him anymore.
Wow.
And being able to fly with him and Young Rock and Kampai down in Thailand, like my game went up like 10 notches.
Hell yeah.
and having HJ Sun there, HJ Sun is just such a fountain of knowledge when it comes to flying. And like some people don't know this, but like Young Rock and Min Chen Kim started flying 3D helis when they were like 4 years old, 6 years old, because their dads taught them. So they come from a long background of RC flying. Not like they just picked up a quad one day.
Right. They've been working at it for a long time.
Yeah. and they put in the work. I mean, when I was down there in Thailand, dude, every day, 6 to 8 hours, we flew pack to pack, pack after pack after pack, back to back, nonstop.
So a lot of folks may not know that you designed your own frame. Do you have one handy?
I do, my friend. There it is.
Check it out.
Now, this frame's a couple years old now. And something real quick, everybody's talking about the size of the Tango 2. That thing fits my hands like perfectly. I mean, it feels like super comfortable in my hands. So this is a 210 frame, and here's my hand.
Big boy
So
hands.
if you think it's too small, I can hide a 5-inch frame behind my hand.
Did you get yours yet?
It's on the way. Trappy held one for me.
I got mine.
Yeah, you guys got yours long before me, and I only live a couple 100 miles away from him. And he's a friend of mine. That's probably why I'm last on the list.
I think stuff takes longer to ship to you too, doesn't it? Doesn't it take a while to ship?
It's got to clear customs. And right now there's like no delivery with the virus and all that crap going on. So yeah.
So put your frame back up. Show us some of the design highlights on that frame. Okay,
the main thing I did with this frame, well, number one, we got the webbing and the bracing underneath. And a lot of that, because this is an old school frame, back then we had a lot noisier motors. So the idea with these vanes wasn't just for strength, it also absorbed the vibration out of the arms. So you didn't get as much vibration going into the flight controller.
Sweet.
And the other thing I did is all the standoffs and all the cross standoffs on this frame are all exactly the same size. And so are all the screws.
So they're interchangeable.
It was so super simple to put together. And then your camera just strapped right on here. The strap poles are already there. There's a little platform on there, and you just stick your GoPro on there, run the strap around it, and you're off. And I also did a slammed version of this where these camera cheeks, have notches in them. And this top battery deck slipped into the notches and locked in, and then you could put it down on little 15 millimeter standoffs if you so chose.
That's the one I'd like.
I still got a couple hanging around here, buddy. I'll get you one. I have to, you need to remind me that I'm in the States and I have a package with me, I can send it to you, because it's 3 times the cost of the frame for me to ship you one from China.
Right.
So I usually pack a couple up and bring them home. I gave one to the Mighty Thor when I was there, and I sent one to somebody else that had been begging me forever for one of them last time I was there at Christmas time. But now that you're back around, I'll put one aside for you. I'll write random right on it.
I would appreciate that.
They're old school, like I said, that design is like 2 years old. So
Plummet brings up a good point in the chat. He says the biggest thing everyone needs to remember is that we fly these damn things for fun and to BS with each other. I think many can agree, and I give no fucks about lines. You are all my friends.
Absolutely.
You get it, Plummet.
100%. He gets it. That's, and I say it all the time. That's one of the reasons I never released this frame.
Yeah, because you stay neutral. I know you stay neutral.
Exactly. And back when I did this frame was when lines were starting to get drawn and camps were starting to form. And so one asked me to carry the frame or the other. And at that point, I just said, nope, I don't want to be in the middle of any of it. I don't want this guy to say, okay, we're not associated anymore because you let them sell your frame or whatever. I just didn't want any of it. It's the same thing with my channel. I would rather have, and I said this on Mike's show too, I would rather have 2,000 subs and get 500 views right, than have 10,000 subs and get 1,000 views.
Right.
So I think most of the guys in the chat now are probably already subscribed to me or whatever. But if you're not and you go to my channel, I don't do giveaways. I don't do promotions. I don't do gimmicks. I don't want people subbing my channel because they saw me hanging out with this pilot or these people or that crowd or that group or I'm associated with or anything. Click on my channel. If you like it, if you like the videos you see, sub me. If you don't. It's not my livelihood. I don't want it to be my livelihood. I don't care. I just want to fly and have fun with friends. That's it. So and I don't do like bits or sales pitches or any of that stuff on my channel. I walk around with the camera raw. I don't do double takes or redo scenes or whatever. What you get on my channel is exactly what I did that day, or whatever. Every once in a while I'll review a new product for Lumineer or something like that, or something cool comes out, but I'm not the tech guy either. There's plenty of those out there already too. It's just me having fun.
Yeah, I've got one of your videos queued up. We're gonna watch it here in a little bit.
You won't.
Snoopy wants to know: are you hungry? Are you locked in? Are you stir crazy?
Yeah. Oh yeah, you guys. I don't have the chat up just because it's Random's show, so he gets to delegate what's going on here, and I don't want to be sidetracked by the chat and stuff like that. Yeah, we are basically not supposed to leave our complex. You definitely can't leave without a mask on, and they are going to give you a health check when I live in a gated community, so the exit gate's blocked off. There's only one gate to get in and out of here right now, and they have health officials and guards right there to check everybody coming in and out. And if you don't live here, you're not even allowed to come in. There's no visitors allowed here right now. And if I go out to the grocery store and come back, I'm subjected to health checkups. Luckily, we have, as far as food goes, we have a couple of nice little local stores here that always have like local fresh vegetables and eggs and noodles and stuff like that. So we're pretty good in that sense. Plus, it was just Chinese New Year, so we always prep for Chinese New Year because we know everything's going to be closed for a week. So we stay pretty stocked up. We're pretty good.
Is it still a ghost town over there, right?
Absolutely. The streets are barren. Like there's nobody moving around. The government wants everybody to stay inside, not gather, not get in crowds, not, and it's to be honest with you, it's it's a bit touch and go. Like if I go out there and catch a cold right now, right, and they take from some idiot and they take my temperature and I have a temperature, they're going to send me to the quarantine camp. Even though I may not have the virus, I'm probably going to catch it while I'm there. Well, they lock me down with all the other people, So, it's eerie because like you're avoiding people. You don't want to see anybody. You go in the store and you're like staying away and making sure people don't touch you or get near you or just, it's pretty crazy.
Have they given you any idea how long they think it's gonna last?
Um, you know, the virus didn't really put out a date of when it decides it's gonna
Yeah.
it's a virus, I don't know how anybody can make that call.
So you're just kind of stuck waiting.
Basically, yep, we're just in limbo.
Have
But I
you?
mean, it's like if you catch a cold, you can't call in and say, "Oh, I'll be good tomorrow at 8 o'clock." The cold will be over. I don't
Right.
know.
Have you had any weird experiences since this whole thing's been going on?
The other day there was guys in the hazmat suits clearing out a couple apartments, which is near me, which is pretty weird. But I live like on the edge of the city and kind of stay away from folks as it is. So, it's just me and the wife and the dog. So we don't really socialize that much anyway. So it's not, I mean, but it's still weird that there's nobody in the streets, that all the stores are closed, Starbucks, McDonald's, whatever, it's all shut down. Everything that's like 24-hour stores is closed with signs on the door that just says, you know, keep you posted. We'll reopen whenever. We don't know, you know. So it's definitely weird.
Well, I hope you get some practice on the Sims while you're locked up.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Got the HDOs plugged into the computer.
What Sim's your favorite?
Velocidrone for right now. Velocidrone is the closest I've found to flying the real thing. Like the
Physics.
feel of the quad is really close to the real feel.
Yeah, I love Velocidrone. I like playing DRL Sim a lot too.
Yeah, I play that a lot too. I do mess with that one a lot. But the Velocidrone for me just has that little bit more edge of like when I'm cornering or something
It's
like
not
that.
as
That gives a
floaty.
right. It's just a little more real feel. Gives me a little more grip, a little more throttle response. I'm
Noid
looking
wants to
forward to the
know.
DCL coming out.
Noid wants to know: have you ever raced in a castle? What's the coolest place you've ever raced?
I have not raced in a castle, but I would say there's been a lot of cool places, but definitely by far the coolest place we ever raced was a place called Gulo, and it's just outside of Tibet, 14,000 feet up in the Himalaya mountains. We were in this on this plateau up in the Himalaya mountains. There was literally yaks walking across the field behind where we were racing, like
Holy
herds
shit!
of yaks. Yeah, it was freaking cool. And that was one of those races that they flew people, they were trying to show off their technology, whatever. So they flew people in from all over the world. There was the Japanese guys were there, some of the Korean guys were there, people from Germany were there, people from Hong Kong were there, from the Philippines, from Singapore. It was really cool, a really cool crowd of people, and what an experience. You got the Tibetan Indians walking around with their hats and their thing, they're just walking across the plains and stuff. The little bus taking us to in the morning, our little shuttle bus had to wait for like all the yaks to clear off the street as we're going down the road.
Holy shit, bro! That sounds
So yeah, that
epic.
was pretty wild.
Could you
It
tell
was
the air was thinner?
I was
Sn-
just gonna say the thing was like you climbed 3 or 4 stairs and you had to stop because there was no oxygen, you
Snoopy
know.
wants to know if you had to change different props.
We did. We all went to like 4 blade props because he couldn't get any grip.
Wow.
Like the air was so thin that you just slid out in the corners. Actually, everybody started going to 4 blade props, and actually, which seems counterintuitive, but we were actually making our quads heavier by putting like a GoPro or something on it, so that the PID loop would grab it more with the heavier quad. The light quad was just so floaty.
Did they have any interesting ways to make their quads heavy other than GoPros?
Everybody was just kind of strapping on a session or something like that,
I could just see somebody
basically.
strapping a rock to their quad, you know?
Right, right. Or one of those prairie dogs running around up there or something.
So Snoopy wants to know your Velocidrone settings. Do you do anything special to the settings?
The only thing I really do, it's the 3.57 or whatever. Basically, the only thing I really do is raise the P's a little bit, and I drop the rates way down to like around 300. Feels more like my racer. I think the rates are a little higher in that sim than they are in real life. So I think my rates are around 300, where in real life I fly around 400 for racing.
What rates do you fly freestyle in real life?
1,000 across the board.
And as far as firmware, are you still on older like 357 or have you upgraded to the newer firmwares?
No, 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 way newer. Because on my freestyle rigs, I fly all Brain Radix. And if you go to the Brain Radix, you have to download their own fork of the firmware. So if you go to the Brain Radix site for the firmware, you'll actually see my um, Panda IDGAF pilot signal on there,
Oh,
and
hell
the
yeah.
own. So I'm running 4.1.3 from Brain Radix. You put that on your quad, then that comes up in your startup screen and the whole 9 yards.
That was 920 FPV that asked that question. We appreciate your questions, guys.
Keep them coming.
What props are you tending to go to for racing?
I I fly pretty much exclusively HQ props across the board. I have tried the gem fans several times, and when I was just down in Thailand, I was flying some of the gem fans that I liked the feel of a lot. But
You rep HQ.
Jong's a good friend of mine. I fly with Jong. You know, he doesn't live that far away from me, so we hang out, we fly, we go out to dinner. We're friends, and you know, not that I need free props. I can afford my own stuff. But if I call up Jong and say, "Yo, bro, I'm low on props. I got a race this weekend. 40 sets of props will show up on my desk the next day."
Right.
So I take
So
care of
you're
the people
flying
that
Beta
take care of
Flight.
me.
Are you flying the Brain Radix on all your rigs?
Right now, yeah, on everything. Everything has a Brain Radix Lee in it. But I am this little dude right here.
The 20
Brain
by
Radix
20
Lee.
Radix Li, right?
Yep. I run these with the Hobby Wing. Hobby Wing just came out with the 20 by 20 ESCs. I was using the full size Hobby Wing, but now they got the little guys.
Nice.
And the Radix comes with its own little wiring harness that you can build to plug into any ESC. So it's super simple. You just hook the wires up and it plugs right in, and you're good to go. But I did just get a batch of ESCs from, I'll show you guys one. These were prototypes when I got them, but now I guess they're full fledged on the website. So here we go with a shameless plug, because I am sponsored by Lumineer. So Lumineer just came out with their
Oh,
20 by
damn.
20, but it's actually a full-sized ESC with 20 by 20 mounting holes, and it's running the F3 processor chips on it. And the other cool thing about this is if you look on the back of this, you see those two rails up there?
Yeah.
They make little circuit boards on there so you can customize your ESC. You can put an LC filter in there. You can put a VTX switch in there. You can put extra capacitors in there, shunt resistors, whatever you want. They make separate little boards that you can solder in there for whatever your ESC need is to customize your ESC, tailor make it to your needs, which
That
is
is
really
sweet.
freaking cool. Yeah. And if you go there, use my code Skidoosh 2020 and you get a discount.
Get like 8%, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And now they have what's called a loyalty program. So if you order that, use my code, then they give you dollars, shop dollars towards your next order. And you can use my code again on top of the shop dollars.
Hell yeah. Pro tip for anybody watching, make sure you use discount code Skadoosh2020 at Lumineer, right? Get FPV.
Get FPV, Lumineer, baby.
Lanuza wants to know, have you ever went to the Philippines to race?
I have not. I almost did last year. I got invited to one there, but believe it or not, and I raced with some guys from there, but believe it or not, where the race was, even though the Philippines is only like a 2-hour flight for me, the only way to get to the island that the race was on was to fly into Manila and then go across the island and take some kind of, it was going to take me like 2 or 3 days to get to the place. I just didn't have that amount of time to dedicate to going down there. I've raced in Hong Kong, Thailand, Germany, America, flown, not just raced, flown. Korea,
Damn. So you've raced a lot
Frankfurt,
of
Germany.
places.
Not just raced, but flown. Those are all places I've flown. I flew in a park right in the middle of downtown Frankfurt, Germany. All my German friends were flipping.
Right? What was the amperage rating on that foreign one?
I believe those are 45. Those are 45 amps. I know those are 45 amps.
That's crazy they packed that into such a small package.
Right? I think they have 60s out now too, 60 amp. But I ran, and that's what's on this Min Chin right now, because I just did a review on it, but I didn't want to like put it out there until I actually ran the crap out of it and tested the crap out of it.
Right.
And there it is on this frame. I'm running it on 5S, 2400 kV motors. So it's ripping some juice through there. And I flew this thing pack after pack after pack, and it's still alive. There's not even a capacitor on it.
No shit.
So
Noid wants to know, how do you
I
approach
endorse.
new builds? How do you approach new freestyle builds?
I've been flying the same setup for well over a year now. The same Lumineer setup. Like that's like one of the first one when they came out with the QAVR Slammed, the V2. They gave me the very first prototype frames of it. That frame right there, I built last Christmas, and I've just modified it down to what I have now. But as far as my building process these days, because because I've been able to build up my arsenal, I'm not like, I got to build this real quick to get out and fly tomorrow. So, I keep basically I keep 2 freestyle rigs running at all times, and then a third like in backup in parts and whatever, so that when it comes to building, like if I sit down at the bench and I'm not having a good day, or I just I go at it for like an hour or whatever, because I really take my time on a build. I'm super meticulous, like every solder joint. I don't want a wire coming loose when I'm 30 feet over a 400 meter skyscraper, or whatever. So I'm super meticulous about my build. So I really take my time. It usually takes me about a week to do a build these days, because I'll sit there and put the motors on, then I'll get busy doing something else, then I'll solder the ESC. I just take my time at it. So it's no more stress to build anymore. I don't go through the bench crashes.
Are you into micros or whoops at all?
I am. Actually, I only have one whoop currently. It is the Mobula 7. I love that thing. Flies like a champ. But I am building. I've been working on this little guy right here, which is a 2.5 inch, for a while now.
Sweet. What batteries are you running on your Mobula 7?
Little 2S packs that I didn't go for the double 1S packs. I clipped the thing off and put a 2S lead on there, and I have these little 2S packs that are from some odd company over here. I can't remember the name of it. They just have like a plain blue sleeve on them. But I think they're 330 milliamp 2S. And I have quite a few 3 inches up there too that I really love flying.
You got HD in any of those?
Oh yeah. I actually, this one is my own frame. Another one of my own designs, 3 inch.
Nice.
And that actually has the, this was the prototype for the hybrid that I tested for RunCam before it was released.
Interesting.
It works pretty good. I have an Acrobat with a split in it.
You're running Crossfire on pretty much everything?
Yep.
Me too. I've pretty much gone to fully Crossfire. I've got one whoop that's Spectrum. It's bind and fly or whatever, Spectrum. So I've got a DX6 or whatever it is for that. But we'll talk about Spectrum here in a little while. I'm sure you've seen the controversy.
I've heard the rumors, but I didn't delve in. I've been flying Crossfire for a couple years now, and I threw FR Sky out the window about 2 years ago, and they're freaking crap. They I only live like 45 minutes away from the FR Sky factory, and I actually flew with a couple of the guys from there back then. In fact, one of them came to Suzhou when Chad and Steele were here, when we did the Bando Island episode, the Rotor Riot Bando Island episode. Anyway, I bought a brand new X10S from them, the $400 Big Daddy FR Sky radio. brand spanking new. I got it right from the factory. Like I said, they're the next city over from me. They're in Wuxi. So I got this brand new X10S, and I flashed open TX on it because I didn't want the Horus firmware or whatever was on there. Everything was good, bound to models, whatever. But I could not get it to hook to my computer anymore. It wouldn't go in DFU. It wouldn't hook to the computer anymore. I couldn't do any of the custom splash screens, any of that stuff. Change the sounds, just wouldn't hook to the computer anymore. So I called them up and said, "Hey, man, I'm having problems with this radio. It won't hook to the computer anymore. Can I send it back to you to get it unbricked or something? Can I get a new?" Like, no. Basically, you're just gonna have to buy a new radio.
Damn.
What? I haven't even flown with this thing. It's a $400 radio. They're like, yeah, nothing we can do. Buy a new one, and hung up on me.
I'm sure you were well within your warranty period too.
It was like the day I received it. So it went back in the case, and it's been there ever since. That moment, I have called Trappy directly. I said, "Send me a Tango," and he overnighted me a Tango. I slapped a Crossfire in it, and never looked back.
Hell yeah! You still running? Or you're gonna switch to the Tango 2, right?
Yeah, but I for the last year I've been running my Nirvana with Crossfire in it.
How's that been working out for you?
I love it. I love that radio. The gimbals, everything. So the gimbals in this thing are like, ugh. These gimbals are like super top of the line gimbals. Of course, I've got it all customized out.
Wow, yeah, you've got it pimped out pretty good. Oh, that's cool.
Own custom splash screens in it. I don't know if you can see, but I've even changed the widgets to the little Skidoosh sign inside of there. It's all customed out.
Hell yeah.
People complain that this thing just fits my hands absolutely perfect. I'm a pincher, and everything is just right there for me.
920 wants to know, you used to run the Snowman packs. What batteries are you running now?
I still love the Snowman packs, but currently, because very few people make a 5S pack, I am now running the Ovonics.
Okay. Have you had good luck out of those?
I have. These have been super solid for me. 5S. I run the 1550s on my racers and the 1300s on my freestyle rigs. Just because I can run the 1550s on the freestyle rigs, but they're a little heavier, so I don't get quite the fling and it's a little more tuning. The lighter you can keep your freestyle rig, the bigger your tuning window is going to be. The heavier you make it, the tighter you're going to have that tuning window, to keep the jello and prop wash and stuff away. So I was running the 1550s when I first started trying these, but I was getting like 4.5 minutes flight time, which isn't a bad thing. But like when I'm making videos for YouTube, nobody wants to watch 4.5 minutes of flight time. So I get like 2.5, 3 minutes out of one of these if I'm milking it, which is like perfect for a vlog freestyle vid.
661 wants to know, what's your opinion on underground FPV?
They're gone. They're toast. They're history.
I was going to say. And is your radio an underground or a fly sky?
It is the underground. It is the very first, because I was friend. Well, I guess I still am friends with Woz, but I just haven't talked to him in a long time. But this was off the very first batch. Never had a problem with it. This is batch 1.
I think I've got one Ovonic pack. Oh, I just slammed the mic. I think I've got one Ovonic pack. And it's been good to me. Noid says he thinks they're mediocre and that they lose punch fast.
I'll be honest with you. This is my first go around with.
You there? Oh, we might have lost Mr. Skidoosh. We'll have to see. Trying to cut him off. Yeah, we weren't even talking about anything too crazy. See if I can find him. Hold on. Get him to join back up. Bear with me, guys. Double A said he will be back because he is a boss. Yeah, I'm hoping he'll come back. No worries. What we'll do is we'll watch his video while we wait for him to come back. That way you guys can check out one of his more recent videos. So,
Skidoosh.
Oh, the dog had a little bug or something and was sick for a couple days. So I'm not supposed to let her jump. I don't know how exactly I'm going to do that. But I'm not supposed to let her do that. You see that, dog? Your mom says no doing that. Wow. This place is completely dead. Even the subway station is basically abandoned. All the construction, although there is still a little bit of Chinese New Year left. But usually by now, there's at least people back in the streets. Apparently, the scare of the virus is keeping everybody away. I don't even think the mall's open yet. Is it, honey? No? What did the sign on the door say? Did we read it?
It's just we'll wait for the further notice if we resume the business.
Closed until further notice. There's a zombie. He wants to eat my brains. Can't see my expression, can you? Who's this guy? What is he doing? What'd you tell him we were doing?
Pass by. Right by.
None of your damn business what we're doing. How about that?
Can you hear me, Random?
So maybe I shouldn't fly. 'Cause that's right where I wanted to be. It was right in front of where he is. But could go on the next block and be out of his territory, right? Go right over here.
Maybe he's gonna show up anyway.
I've been eyeballing this spot for a hot minute, wanting to fly it. What better time than
during an epidemic of global proportions to keep people away. I have flown back here once before, but just not over there. At the hotel right here. So, let's go right over here so we have some sunshine. How about that? So you don't freeze. And we're further away from the guy. We'll go right here.
I'm sure there will be another guy.
So we'll only fly one battery and leave. That building's still under construction. There's some guy. Okay. Let's see if we can one-pack this spot without getting in deep trouble, because the problem is we're right across the street from the train station. And with all the civil unrest going on and the rumors that America planted the virus here, you never know what they might think about me ripping a drone this close to the train station. They might think I'm spying, sharing secrets, spreading the virus. Who knows what freaking crap they could dream up. But I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna rip one pack and haul ass out of here. See what happens. Woo! Get her done.
Are we back?
All right. So we got away with it. We got away clean. Not exactly what I wanted to do. I actually wanted to rip back there a little bit, but there was a guy back there. thanks to my wife and her support. Thanks, honey.
Yeah, I just make sure my glasses still sunglasses, so I rolled my eyes at you and you cannot see.
Ha ha! No video rolled eyeglasses for you. Anyway,
Can you go this way? I want to feed some dogs.
I may come and snipe this spot again before all this pandemonium is over, because right now they just finished construction here. Some of it's still under construction, so they don't have any of the security cameras up yet to ID me on my guerrilla flight. But anyway, so there it is. The streets are still completely dead. All the construction is gone. All the construction workers are gone. There's all kinds of new spots over there that I can fly now that we'll check out later. We're checking for the homeless dogs.
I will feed seafood there.
Oh. We carry dog food with us for the homeless dogs, for the underprivileged. So she wants to stop and feed the dogs. They're not out here right now, but they'll be out here later. That alarm's been going off for a week over there. I don't even know what it is, but there's nobody around to shut it off. I guess it's not bothering anybody because nobody lives here yet. All these buildings are empty. What's Mommy doing? And that's the report from Kung Flu Central. Say bye, dog. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Need to go gear. Bye-bye.
All right, we are back. I hope everybody enjoyed that short little break we had there. We were able to get Skidoosh back, so thanks for joining us back, my man.
One of the joys of China is you have random goodbye internet sessions.
It happens. Hopefully we won't get sniped again.
Hopefully not.
So you're in China, but you do come back to visit quite often, like several times a year. What are your thoughts on the FAA and the NPRM?
Ridiculous. Way overreaching their boundaries. Way overstretching. I'm going to say for sure that we should have some kind of regulations. Give me just 1 second here, guys. My headphones are dying. Let me grab some plug-in ones.
Okay. If you guys are out there in the chat, I'll give you some more shouts out. We got 661, Akira, Double A, Graham Stewart, Jack Fu, Lanuzo, MCP, Ryan's RCs, and Snoopy RC. What is good, guys? I appreciate everybody keeping it active in the chat. Make sure to smash that like button. Hit the subscription bell if you haven't already. We truly appreciate you guys tuning in, each and every one of you.
So now, I definitely do believe there should be some kind of regulations. You know, but there basically some in place now that, you know, like nobody really follows. But for what they're doing, it's gonna crush everything. You know, the STEM programs, the kids, the flight. This has been going on. You know, people have been flying RC for 100 years. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah,
I could
I
go,
mean, people have been doing some form of flight for what, 50 years probably?
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, with no issues. They haven't done any risk assessment, anything like that. I got $10,000 worth of gear here that I'm not going to be able to fly all of a sudden because it's not going to be compatible or upgradable or whatever. And things like for me when I got into this hobby, one of my biggest things was like I knew nothing. One of my biggest, I wasn't afraid to build because I've built stuff on customized motorcycles and boats, and I'm an old biker from the way back. But was like flashing firmware. I knew nothing about firmware. I knew nothing about cameras. I knew nothing about like signals, any of that stuff. And I learned all that stuff on my own, wanting to learn how to do this. Now I know what 2.4 is, 5.8 is, analog video, flashing firmware, configuring, doing, and to bring somebody in and to lose that whole spectrum of knowledge, lithium batteries, chargers, all the different aspects that go along with that, to lose that whole area, for a young kid coming in or even an old guy like me, that just wants the knowledge, it just seems so ridiculous to me, because even for me, I build the little electric cars. So everything I learn in this hobby spills over to my cars. It's just one big giant ESC with one big huge AC motor, you know?
Right.
Now I do believe there should be some kind of regulations, like something, some kind of testing, something, I don't know, because the guy gets the DJ, and I'm not pointing fingers at DJI, so don't everybody go crazy. It could be a Hubsan. Somebody gets an autonomous drone for Christmas under their Christmas tree, and they've never seen one before, don't know anything about it, and they can hook it up with the GPS and push a camera around in the sky in like 10 minutes. And they don't know they can't go above 400 feet. They don't know they can't fly by the airport. They don't know, they're just think, oh, cool, I'm just going to fly this wherever. And they don't really know the dangers of, like flying over a highway and taking pictures. So I do believe there should be something, but what they're proposing is absolutely ludicrous. That's like, I mean, how do I want to freaking put my location out there while I'm under the goggles so somebody can run up on me and rob my gear? That's just so ridiculous. That's like putting a remote ID on my car as they go down the street. Come on, that's crazy thinking.
I think they need to put trackers on the delivery drones and the big, huge autonomous drones, that kind of thing. I think should be able to be tracked, but I think we should be left alone as hobbyists.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right, and I think they have it reversed. They should have all those big drones should have all the location trackers and stuff on there, so we can pop on an app on the phone. Okay, the airspace is clear, we can fly.
And I agree with you about testing or licensing. It just makes sense to have some sort of certification or something that we can take to prove that we know what we're doing. Because I guarantee you 90% of the FPV pilots would probably pass the test. Anybody that's been in the hobby over 6 months to a year is probably going to know most of the, stuff they would need to pass some sort of a test.
Yeah, like I said, I think they have it back. Like airliners now have flight pass, so they can do the same thing with the drones, delivery drones, whatever. Here's the flight pass, here's the times. We could pop on an app with their remote ID on it, not ours, and see that there's 10 delivery drones coming this way in the next hour. We can't fly over these trees or at that park or whatever. We can watch the app, and when they make their deliveries, then we fly. Whatever. We would work our way around that. I know we would. I don't want to fly my setup into lose my setup. I can tell you that. But it's crazy to think. And the other thing is the whole camaraderie of the FPV community. Like I said on Mike's show, I meet with people from all over the world. We may have different political views, different religious ideas, whatever. But when we come together in that field to fly, none of that matters. That just all goes away. Like right now it's Chinese New Year, and I usually get with my crew who, you know, one guy's Italian. My boy Paulo, he's in the chat. Akira goes up his channel. Fahua, he's from France. You know, we got Lance Fung that's from Hong Kong. I'm American. I love flying with those guys. I miss my crew, but we haven't been able to get together during this holiday break thanks to the virus outbreak. But, you know, we're from all over the world. But none of that matters when we're flying together. We just laugh and have an absolute ball.
That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about, is the camaraderie and the sharing with it. That's why I do this show, just to be able to share my love of it with everybody that tunes in and the guests that I have on.
Yep. One of the things I had in the back of my mind, I've had in the back of my mind for a couple of years now, is just out of my own pocket, I was going to build like a large size with heat-seeking technology on it and a camera platform and the whole 9 yards. And my idea was, like, whenever there was a natural disaster or a missing kid in the woods or anything like that, I was just going to go out there and volunteer. You know, here, let's find them right away, because I could run a grid pattern with a big, you know, 45-minute flying drone in the woods and find a lost kid within minutes that's going to matter on that kid's life, or somebody in an avalanche, or even a boat lost at sea, or, you know, there's spot the fires for the firefighters to see, you know, anything, floods. You know, I wanted to build one and just volunteer my time to do that. This is going to shoot that right out of the air. You know, these things happen in remote locations. You're not going to be able to get a GPS lock or Wi-Fi lock or whatever. So the kid's going to be out there in the woods.
A couple of my favorite spots to fly, I don't have Wi-Fi, so I don't have phone signal at, which I would have to have phone signal to be able to create a hotspot to connect to Wi-Fi.
Exactly. It's ridiculous. And even at that, I'll be buying a freaking burner phone and stick it up in a tree a couple 100 yards away from me.
Right?
But hey, I live in a communist country where we can fly freely. Go figure.
Right?
Regulations are going to be stricter on drones than they are on guns.
It's all about them trying to control the airspace and police us, is what Jack Fu's saying.
Well,
companies like Amazon owning the airspace.
Here's the other thing, guys. Here's what I want you to think about. They're playing the old switcheroo with us on this. I guarantee you. Think about this. Is there a big 4-foot Amazon drone? Think about the UPS guy or the FedEx guy going on your street with that truck full of packages and how many houses he hits. Now take each one of those packages and put it on a drone. How many drones are going to be flying down your street? You know, are people really, you know, we got to raise public awareness on that. Do you really think that Amazon drone is going to come land in your yard with a new pair of boots for you, or lower it on a string with your kids out there playing in the yard? Dude, this is all about the defense contractors and the military. And like he said, keeping an eye on us. I mean, is it really, think about this, is it really feasible for that to happen? There's no way right now with the technology that's out there are you going to get a pizza delivered with a drone? It ain't going to happen.
Yeah, it seems a little nuts. And imagine, I mean, it'd have to have some sort of like hub where all the packages were that it could go back to and get another package. And what are they going to, it's like, are you going to have one drone and it comes back and forth? Or are you going to have multiples? It would require some stupid amount of drones to deliver the amount of packages we have delivered on a daily basis. I guess I could see them doing something where it's like, if you pay this substantial fee, you could get your stuff delivered by drone maybe. But even then, it's like, at what point is that? How many people are going to take advantage of it, you know?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Looking at the whole spectrum of it, it just doesn't make sense. It's not feasible for that to happen. Imagine what kind of system it would take to run that. Because you got FedEx, UPS, DHL, the United Postal Service, whoever else. Then you're going to have rescue drones. You're going to have my son's new liver in a freaking hospital drone flying in between all that. On top of that, in an emergency situation, come on, I ain't buying it.
Jack Fu says there's a blimp that's a mothership and the drones deliver a set pickup.
Which, okay, but still, how is that going to happen? Who's in the blimp putting the packages on the drones?
Lanuzu makes a
How
good
many
point. He's
drones
like,
are they
take a look at
deploying?
your neighborhood. You've got, it's all buildings. There's nobody even has a lawn. Like, how are they going to deliver to somebody in apartment buildings?
Yeah, let's go out here and take a look. Let's just think about that. It ain't happening.
Right?
By the way, there's the streets of the normally busy China right now.
Nothing. You ever
Not a
fly
creature
right
of
from your
spirit.
balcony?
I've thought about it, but the thing is like I already stick out like a plaid ninja because I'm like the only white guy for miles around.
Right.
So I don't need any additional attention.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that whole oh, we're doing it for delivery drones for the convenience of the public and to save lives. It's bullshit. It's all about military and policing the public.
So, did you watch the Horizon Hobby video?
I did not, thank God.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. The major things that they made the mistake is that they kind of lumped FPV and DJI drones into a similar category. They basically said anything with a GPS or a camera, they believe needed to be, needed to have remote ID, in a nutshell. And they didn't make a distinction for FPV being hobby. They lobbied really hard for like a model aircraft, but they didn't distinct which one FPV was in the video. So the guy talked for like, I don't know, 10 minutes or something about how hobbyists have been flying forever and have done just fine, and that, all these different hobbyists are going to lose their hobby. But then he lumps camera and GPS drones into the same group together. And it was pretty
That's
rough.
kind of been our issue since the beginning, since they started revising the 107 and all that stuff, is that we've been wanting to be separate from a camera platform or an autonomous platform, or because most of us, by the time to fly FPV and to fly acro mode, it takes some skill, it takes some time, it takes some practice. Nobody's going to be able to rip over the freaking building first time out. They're lucky to make it 10 feet.
No doubt.
I know I did. And then not only that, we spend all our time and money building these things and pour our heart and soul into it. We don't want to lose it. We don't want to crash it into anything. We want to slowly figure out how to fly this thing correctly, so we're not right back on the bench.
They released an apology on Facebook saying that they support FPV community, and they were just talking about I guess video aerial photography drones and that kind of thing. But it came across real wrong in the video. One statement they made was like that we fly them just to get a viral video or that kind of thing. People out here flying just to get viral videos in dangerous locations, which I felt was kind of like a shot at us.
Yeah, I didn't watch it, so I don't know. You know me, I try to stay out of as much of the drama as I possibly can. I don't pick camps. I don't,
I just wish they would have made it clear in the video that they were talking about like DJI drones, because if they'd done that and lumped FPV in with the model aviation, I don't think anybody would have had as much of a problem as they did. But it was like a big deal. I was on the phone last night at like 10 o'clock at night, and it had, I think, like 130 down thumbs. And people were just blowing up the comments with negativity, you know, with how could, like, throwing FPV under the bus and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I saw it blowing up all over the social streams, and then I saw it was taken back down. I saw the drama surrounding it, but I did not see the actual video. I've never been a Spectrum guy anyway. I don't think I've ever used any Horizon Hobby gear, so I don't really follow their deal. So
Well, let's switch to something positive. What's if you had to pick just one piece of gear that for your favorite piece of gear, what would it be? Favorite motor, favorite ESC, favorite flight controller, favorite frame. You could just pick one.
favorite motor by far, Brother Hobby, hands down. They have been nothing but like I said, that one on the wall's got this original Brother Hobby motors on it that I put on there over a year ago. It still gets perfect jello-free video.
Oh yeah.
It's had arms replaced. It's had an ESC replaced. Well, one arm replaced is the only arm I've replaced on it. But other than that, it's been solid as a rock. And firm believer in the Brother Hobby motors. That's about all I run.
Have you tried some of the newer Lumineer stuff?
Oh, of course. Prototype ones. I got a whole shelf full of Popos over there. I tested them when they first came out. Got the old school Popos right here that I ran and tested. Absolutely great motors. I just prefer the Brother Hobbies.
Lanuzo wants to know if you've ever smoked a Brother Hobby motor.
I have. Absolutely have. It happens. I've smoked two of them. Both of them were due to crash and like wires getting crossed. They never just smoked by themselves.
They were induced smokage.
Yeah. One I smoked in Thailand because I crashed into a gate or whatever and wires popped off, touched the wrong spot or whatever. But I've never just like smoked one flat out.
Yeah, me neither. I've never smoked a motor flat out. Oh, I take that back. I did smoke one getting stuck in a tree and trying to get it out.
I smoked one like back in the beginning when I was trying to remember what I was doing. I was trying to figure something out, and I had the quad bungee corded to a couple dumbbells on the ground and was pumping the throttle up and down, trying to figure out. I don't remember what I was trying to do with it. Maybe I was trying to see if one of the ESCs was bad and glitching or something like that, or was desyncing. I left it. I did a little too much throttle on the ground, and poof.
Right. Lanuzu said he's had Emax echoes just go up.
Yeah, I haven't flown Emax since the red bottom days.
The old standard.
That biblade right there still has the original, very first version of the red bottoms on it.
Still fly?
It does. I'm sure I could make it fly. There's nothing broken on it, but it's like 3 years old. I think it's got a NAS 32 in it.
I guess the new firmwares probably aren't supported by NAS 32, or you know what I'm saying.
I'm sure I could make it fly if I wanted to. It's just like that was like one of my very first builds, so it's just kind of a nostalgia now. Like everything from here, from my race badges over that way, are like nostalgias, and then everything this way are my flyers.
Give some shouts out to a couple guys in the chat. We got Artemis Prime and Mad Chiller, Multi-Rotor Manish, Snoopy, Lanuzo, Jack Fu, Graham Stewart, Big Oily Guy, Artemis Prime, I got you twice, brother, and 661 FPV. We appreciate all you guys tuning in. Make sure you drop
For
questions
sure.
if you've got them in the chat.
Good to see Random back on the waves, my brother.
Trying, my man.
The little chin strap got a little longer since the last time I seen you, and you're a little stupider looking, but
I probably am full-fledged a little stupider, so no worries.
me too, bro.
So tell us, do you have any interesting drone recovery stories?
Let's see. Huh. One good one was in the multi-GP when I crashed in the canal, had to roll my pants up and wade in and get it during the race. That was a pretty decent one. But I've been pretty lucky as far as that goes. I've only lost one, and I lost it beyond, couldn't find it, lost, so it wasn't a recovery mission. Probably one of the coolest ones I've ever seen, and it wasn't even my drone, but we were flying at Bando Island, me and the crew, and I crashed somewhere, and I was looking for my drone, and I found a drone that somebody else had crashed out there that had been out there for like a year. I mean, it was just all rusted up, beat up, full of dirt. It had been through rain after rain after rain. Somebody recognized it as like, oh, that was so-and-so's quad that was out here like a year ago. We plugged the battery in that thing, and it still fired up. ESC's beeped and everything after
No
laying there on the
shit.
ground for a year. Yeah, dude, it was crazy. It was like an old dinosaur freaking 250 something ZMR maybe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Did you
and it
find
still
out? Did you
fired
ever
up.
figure out who owned it?
I think it was a guy named. I think they said it was a guy named Oliver that had flown out there with us once, like a long time ago, and lost a drone out there. Oh, wait. Okay, here's the biggest one ever, and it's on my YouTube channel. This kid named Jake came here a couple of years ago and wanted to fly Bando Island. He was only like 12 years old. His dad brought him here, and he went out there and flew before I took him out there. And he had an alien, I guess Chad Capper had given it to him, like just before he came out here to build and come fly Bando Island. And he crashed it on one of the roofs at Bando Island that was like 4 stories up there. And I went out there with like my 6-inch and tried to suspend a little net from it and get it down, and like with a fishing pole and tried to cast a line up there and couldn't get it down. I ended up paying like, it was cheap. I paid like 100 RMB for a bucket truck to come out there and go up and get it for the kid so that he could keep flying while he was in China.
Eric Akira says, "What about the guy at the Bando power plant when the Chinese dude climbed the ruins to get the quad back?"
Oh yeah, that was decent too, but that wasn't my quad either.
Well, we can
But
still hear the story.
We had that happen twice. First time, I don't think Paulo was there, but our other buddy Mao was there and crashed on the roof. And some Chinese farmer skivvied up the side of the building and freaking catwalked around the edge of this roof to get his drone down for him. We tried to pay the guy, and he refused us. And then Paulo Acura crashed in like all this gnarly, bent up freaking rebar and stuff that was like, it's an old abandoned power plant. So there was a coal chute that came down. And like the end of the coal chute was all smashed, and there was just all the rebar and stuff hanging there. And this old freaking Chinese dude wiggled his way up between all that rusty metal and rebar and everything to get Paulo's quad down for him.
Damn.
We tried to throw some money, or just a random guy coming by where we were flying. You know, we tried to pay, throw the guy a few bucks, and he's like, no, and off he went. Holy
Wasn't
shit.
having it.
Wasn't having it. I think those are both on our channels too. One's on Paulo's channel and one's on my channel.
I had a guy scale like I had to be 30 or 40 foot up a tree, with like no gear, no climbing gear, no. It was just like this dude that my buddy brought to watch me fly, and he was so stoked on it that he like climbed the tree to get the drone back just so he could watch us fly some more.
Wow.
The dude shimmied up the tree like a monkey, dude, and it scared the living daylights out of me. Like I was really worried for the dude's safety, but he made it up and got the drone and came back down, no problem.
Wow.
That goes to show you what some people are just nice, man. The hobby, it's like it just draws out nice people.
Right? Right? I'm sure there's a few more that I can't think of right now, but I mean, I still fly basically every chance I get, several times a week, every day if I can. Like, I'm going to go out and fly today, put my mask on. It's like 60 degrees out there today. Like, that's unheard of for mid-February here. Normally it's frozen at this time, It's a freaking beautiful day out there. You can see how beautiful it is and nobody in the streets. That's telling you something.
Graham wants to know how you
another.
doing getting supplies with the quarantine.
We're not bad. We got a couple little stores across the street that are open that carry like local vegetables from the local farmers and stuff like that. Not really reliant on, because like most of the highways between the cities and stuff are shut down. So we're doing okay. We have noodles and eggs and veggies and apples and stuff. We're stocked up.
Sweet.
Be interesting to see how it comes down the pipe if things don't open back up. But like everything's closed. Everything's closed. You can't even like go to KFC or Starbucks, or it's all closed with signs on the door. We'll let you know when we're going to open or whatever. Closed until further notice.
How
And,
long has it been going on now that everything's been closed?
2-3 weeks, honey?
Jeez.
Everything's shut down?
Yes. So let's see. Yeah.
January 23rd is like when they officially started closing everything down. So the other thing is, people that are unfamiliar with China, like when we go in the grocery store across the street, it's like an open meat display. The butcher's standing right there, cutting up meat and throwing it in the display right there. It's not all pre-packaged, pre-wrapped, sanitized stuff like that, like we're used to. So if random guy walks by with the virus and freaking sneezes over that meat counter, we don't want to buy the meat. We don't want to touch any of that stuff. We don't want to go near anything we can't 100% trust. I guess it's basically the same thing like going out to a restaurant or something like that. Even if they were open, I wouldn't go there right now with people going in and out of there. You don't know who's in the kitchen. You don't know who's washed their hands or where they've been. So it's a really weird feeling way to live right now.
I can't even imagine, bro. I feel for you.
It's a good thing that the wife and I get along really good because we've been locked in the house together for several weeks now. Right, honey? I said I love you.
You did. You just said it in a different way.
I said it in more words, but essentially that's what I said.
Okay. Yes.
She's the best.
That's awesome. It's awesome you guys have a good relationship. Have you ever got her to fly?
He has no interest. But I've tried. She doesn't want anything to do with it.
Mine doesn't either, so don't feel bad.
But she supports me like 100%. She'll like buy me parts and surprise me. We ride around on the motorcycle and stuff. So she puts the backpack on because if I wear it, she can't get on the bike. You know what I mean? So yeah, she's 100% behind me on it. She just doesn't have any interest in actually doing it.
Could be worse. She could not be behind you on it too.
Yeah, then she'd have to move out. This is my living room.
Right.
This isn't like a separate room. This is right in the middle of my living room.
Represent. Guys, let me know in the chat if you have any more questions for David. They're joking around about all the different coronavirus jokes. So Lanuzu said, I saw a joke video where the Chinese delivery driver's in China for food and this guy used an Inspire to send the food to the roof.
Oh yeah, that's actually been happening. That's not a joke. Like that's the only way those people can get food. People are sending it up in an Inspire. People are lowering stuff on ropes down to their neighbor's balcony because they're their neighbor's under quarantine and can't get out. Yeah, that's for real. There was even a video where a guy took his RC car, taped a little basket to the top of it, and was driving it across the street to the store for the people to put eggs and stuff in it, driving it back.
Damn. That's some scary shit, man.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. It's crazy. Like I said, if you go outside and for some reason you have a temperature at all, and
That's it, right?
they decide to grab you and take you to the quarantine camp, you're definitely screwed then.
Well, man, I want to thank you for coming on. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to come on and share some information with us and help us understand better what's going on over there and
Bro,
see
I
your
appreciate
smiling,
you
lovely
taking up
face.
some of the time in my boring day.
Right?
Pretty boring.
Plus, it's been a minute. We're dogs from the way back, bro. I had to see my boy.
All right. I appreciate you, brother. So I've got Trappy on next week.
Oh Jesus, no.
Yeah, I got to pick his brain about all the new Tango 2 stuff that's coming in the future.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love Trappy. Trappy's a good friend of mine. He's a freaking great guy. I know he comes across to some people, but he's very passionate about the hobby. He loves to fly, and he really puts his time. There's times I'm on the phone with him at 3 a.m. He's still up working.
Yeah, he's a machine, dude. He's like damn near always online.
Yep. I'm going to say this kind of across the board before we check out here with guys like Trappy, Drew Camden. A lot of these guys that I see everybody just like completely shit on the internet and bash on. You've never met these guys. I'm telling you right now, these fucking guys are cool as fuck and really give a crap about the hobby and what's going on. They absolutely love it. So all these people that bash on all these people on these guys online, for whatever reason that don't even know them as a person, just that's why I just totally stay out of it. It's just so ridiculous to me that people are like that I just can't even fathom it. To me, it's like I can't understand how somebody could beat a puppy.
Yeah, no, I hear you completely. I don't know why Trappy gets such a bad name, but I think it's probably because he's passionate about it, and he's willing to really stand behind what he's doing and the hobby in general.
Oh, absolutely. If you're looking for a soft landing answer, Trappy's not your guy to go to.
No doubt.
He's just gonna tell you like it is, man, flat out. And I know you've done some stuff with him in the past, so you know how he is. You've worked with him and done some stuff with him. So, it's
I
just
love
how
it.
he is.
I love it personally. He's straight shooter, gets right to the point. There's no bullshit. Don't have to worry about anything.
There's no sugarcoating. There's nothing to see behind the curtains.
I think Akira's fucking with you here, but he wants to know what IDGAF stands for.
Oh, International Drone Games and Freestyle.
There you go.
What did you guys think it meant?
I'm pretty sure he thought it meant I don't give a fuck.
He knows exactly what it means. He is fucking hurt.
Give a special shout out to Artemis Prime. He says he's got to go. I think he's got to get the kids to bed. Brother, we appreciate you stopping by for a few minutes and hanging out. Appreciate the support.
You ate all the strawberries?
Yes. I can buy more.
Graham Stewart says he don't give a fuck too.
It's the best when I'm flying here in China and they don't, the announcers say everything in Chinese and then you hear IDGAF team come up. They don't really understand what it means,
So you got your own team?
Sort of. Akira, Lance Fong, Fa Hua. whenever they can make it to races, when we make it to races together, that's my squad, man.
No doubt, dude. That's sweet.
I wouldn't say it's my team. We just join up whenever we can and fly races, whatever, do whatever. It's the squad.
Have you guys won any races?
Hell no, we suck.
You surely had some podium finishes, though. The top 3?
I have. I've had a few years. Right here.
Nice. What was that? Which one was that from?
I don't remember, to tell you the truth. This was about 2 years ago. And it's written in Chinese. I think it was a race we had, maybe had. I can't remember the name of the city, but it was one of the original independent drone racing GP races when they first came out. You know, back then, 2 years ago or so, right? If you could finish your laps, you basically podium, because nobody was practicing, you know, to the degree that they are now. Basically, if you could make like all 3 of your laps,
You were good.
you were good. Yeah, you were real good. Nobody could hit all the gates consistently.
Don't worry. I hit gates like literally. I have trouble getting through them, so no big deal.
I've been practicing because I plan to go to IO this year, and my goal is to smoke Trappy because he's going to fly in the. Trappy and I are going to split an Airbnb, and he's going to fly in the whatever class. So I got to beat him. That's it. That's all there is to it.
Well, I'm sure if you keep putting the time in, you'll be able to do it. I'll have to give him a hard time about it next week.
Yeah, definitely do.
All right, sweet. Well, man, thanks again for coming on. It's been a pleasure. I think we're going to go ahead and end the stream now. Guys, tune in next week at 9 o'clock for 9 o'clock Saturday Eastern for Talks with Trappy. And I want everybody to smash that like button, hit the subscription bell. Thank you guys again from the bottom of my heart for tuning in. I truly appreciate it. I know David appreciates it as well.
Absolutely.
It's been a pleasure. I hope everybody has a great week and gets some packs flown. David, you got any parting words?
Peace out, Boy Scout, Girl Scout, bacon grease.
All right. Thanks for being one of the most awesome folks in FPV, David.
Oh, stop it. I ain't no one special.
I'm serious. You're a good guy. We'll see you guys next time. Saturday at 9. Peace out.